Welcome to our 4th installment and the January edition of the Habitat Home Show. We have a great episode lined up for you today that it's full of special surprises in a lot of ways. The first part of our episode today will be the actual walkthrough of the 6700 Sandy Drive house. It's the Pope build and the one that we've been following through each of our episodes so far this year. Today on our Restore Spotlight, we'll be looking at some items we have for your new TV that you may have got over the holidays. And now, without further ado, let's go out to our 6700 Sandy Drive build site where Norm and the new homeowner, Verlonda Bryce, will do a walkthrough of the house.
All right, thank you, Brad. I appreciate it. Today we're here with Verlonda Bryce, and we're going to be doing a walkthrough on the house that we, of course, have built at 6700 Sandy Drive. And what we're going to do, Verlonda, today is I want to make sure that you understand how everything works in your house. Mm-hmm. Of course, I want you to be able to see, of course, that everything is completed and how, of course, beautiful it looks. Of course, you were here doing your sweat equity hours also, but like I say, I think we do a great job producing a really nice home, and we do a lot of it, of course, with volunteers. So one of the things we start with actually is our homeowner's warranty manual. Mm-hmm. And I just want you to know that inside this book, there's pretty much reference to just about anything on the house as far as how things work. Mm-hmm. Also, one of the things is the contact phone numbers for all of the subcontractors that, of course, we did used on your house. Okay. Things like anything like the electrical systems or the heating and air conditioning systems, of course, the plumbing systems have to be done by licensed contractors. Mm-hmm. Okay, so their phone numbers are all right here in this book. So if something would come up after you move in, you could contact them directly, and that avoids you calling our office calling the subcontractor calling you back, right? It's just you call them, tell them what you need help with, and then they'll send out one of their service techs. Yes. Okay? Hi, Verlonda. The first thing I want to tell you about your kitchen sink is that underneath all your plumbing fixtures, you do have separate shutoffs for both the hot water and the cold water. So because water sometimes has lime in it, and after a few, after years actually, and this area is not too bad, but you may have to replace the faucets. You can actually turn the water off there, replace the faucet, and not have to turn the water off to the whole house. Okay? So I want to make sure that you do see, of course, these are Moen faucets. So you have hot, and then of course cold. All right? One nice thing about the Moen faucets is they have a lifetime warranty. All right, so if you have a problem with those, you can actually just send Moen an email or call them, and then actually they'll just send you the parts to fix it. And same thing, for the first year, everything on the faucet is under warranty. Something else I want to tell you about in your kitchen is that all of the plugs, okay, are protected by a what they call a ground fault circuit interrupter. So sometimes in homes you see the plugs with little buttons. Have you seen those?
Yes.
All right. So this is the same thing, but it's controlled actually at the in the circuit panel, which I'll show you. But just keep in mind that if all of a sudden these plugs in here aren't working, mm-hmm. there's a good chance it's one of those GFI breakers, mm-hmm. and I'll show you how those work and how to reset those. Okay? So anything that's by water will be protected by that. So outside plugs, bathroom plugs, garage plugs will also be protected by GFCI. Okay?
Okay.
All right, something else I want to tell you about is, of course, on your vent hood, this is vented to the outside. Of course, you have high and low settings. I would suggest, again, run this as needed. It, of course, takes the moisture out of the house along with any kind of cooking smells. But I think I mentioned, as efficiently as we build our houses, you want to make sure that you control the moisture in your house. These do have a filter underneath that is replaceable. You can get those either through the manufacturer. You can buy them at Lowe's or Home Depot or any kind of hardware store. They're all pretty standard, but same thing, if that does get clogged with grease or dirt or sort of dust after a while, you can just replace those and make sure it's working efficiently. Okay? All right, and then the rest, as far as your kitchen cabinets go, you got your Lazy Susan, right? Actually, your kitchen, you have 2 of them. These are great. They help use up this storage that sometimes get hidden. Just you want to be careful when you're putting things in here. I would suggest if you do put canned goods in there, don't overload them with canned goods. They're the only thing that can maybe get it a little out of balance or something like that. But other than that, you can put anything you want in them. Of course, the rest of your cabinets and cabinet doors, cabinet drawers, right? As far as how they work. I don't know if you want to, like I say, if you'd like to check and see, or if you've already done this. This one here does have some storage in the back. Okay. That's for that stuff you never use. Okay. Of course, the blinds. We have, of course, blinds on all the windows. I'll show you more about the windows as we move into a different area where I can get to it. Okay. All right. Any questions in this area? No. All right. Very good. All right, Valanda, a couple of things I want to tell you about, of course, are your door locks. We do have a deadbolt lock and a regular entry lock on all 3 of your doors, actually. They're all key-to-like, so one key will work all of the locks, so you won't have to worry about carrying around a bunch of keys. These locks are actually provided to us by Yale Locks, which is great. They're an awesome lock. They really, like I say, they hold up well. They work well. The other thing I want to tell you about, of course, is your storm door here. One of the nice things is that the glass actually stores right in the door itself. So you can raise it. If you want to let some air in, you can, of course, raise it all the way up in the springtime if you don't want to run your air conditioner. Yeah, it's nice. And, of course, it does have a latch and a lock on it. Now, one thing about storm doors is it's not a security door, right? But, again, it does have the lock if you're, just in the house and want to make sure that somebody just doesn't walk in inadvertently. Okay?
Okay.
Questions?
No.
All right. Something else, of course, as you come in here, do have switches for your ceiling fans. And the way the ceiling fans, let me see here, there we go. This one's actually a 3-way switch. So you have a light kit on these. You can turn them on or off. And same thing with the fan. You have actually it's a 3-speed fan, so it has a high, a medium, a low, and then of course off. And then you can also reverse the fans so that it runs the other direction. And so the idea is when in the summertime, like when you want to feel the cool, you can actually have it going the way it is now, so it blows the air down. And then in the wintertime, if you just want to circulate some air, you actually reverse the blades, and then what it does is it pulls the air up, and so the air is kind of blowing around the edges of the wall, so you don't feel quite as cold with it running that direction. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Any questions in here or anything that we need to talk about? No? Okay, very good. All right, Valanda, in your laundry room, a couple things I want to point out is the dryer plug. If you're coming from an older house, a lot of older houses only have a 3-prong plug, whereas the plumbing or the electric code now requires a 4-prong. But if your old dryer has a 3-prong plug, just remember that you can actually buy a new cord for it, and they're not real expensive. It's definitely less expensive than buying a new dryer, and it will work on the older dryers. There's an extra green ground plug that you hook up to make it work with one of these. Your vent on your dryer hooks up here.
Okay.
So on the back of your dryer it'll have the little 4-inch vent, and you just need a flexible hose to hook it up to this. And on those flexible hoses, make sure it's not a plasticky, the white ones. They're actually not safe at all. Okay. So the ones you want to get are actually more of an aluminum, or else you could have somebody hard pipe it into if you want to do something like that. Okay. But that's what that's for. The exhaust from the dryer hooks up there. Of course, this plug here is for the washer, and your washer hoses hook up here. Cold water, of course, is the blue. Hot water is the red. And then your drain actually hooks up here. We've got this cap on it just to protect it so we don't get sewer gases until you get your washer hooked up and ready. The other thing I'd like to tell you is when you turn these hoses on, okay, if you keep in mind that that right is letting the water come to your washing machine. First of all, when you get a washer, make sure that the hoses are new, all right? Because after time, those hoses will dry rot, and I guarantee you, when you tell somebody a story about your new house like this, they'll say, oh yeah, I know somebody that had their washing machine hoses burst. Because what happens is if those rot and burst, you've just turned a hose on to your whole house. So one of the things I suggest is these are what they call 1/4 turn valves. So if you take that and turn it just 1/4 of a turn like that, it's all the way on, and 1/4 of a turn back, it's all the way off. Okay. So if you can get in the habit of when you start your wash, turn the water on. When you put the last load in the dryer, turn it off. Okay. At least you know that these aren't going to burst while you're not home. Right. Okay? Because there's lots of people that talk to your insurance agent, they will tell you that, oh my gosh, yeah, we just paid a claim or had to do a claim or something like that, and water went all through the house. Okay? Yes. All right, great. One of the things I want to show you on your windows, Valanda, is that actually these are, of course, it's a double pane. Let me get that to stay up. Double pane vinyl insulated window. These actually have what they call argon gas in them, which makes them more efficient. But the thing about them is, I like to show you, of course, is that the windows not just raise up and down, but also tilt out. So now, to tilt them out, there's just a little latch here at the top, right? You just move both of them in. And if you wanted to do that for cleaning, you can, okay? You want to be careful that you don't get them kind of tilted out of kilter because they can come out. But then also, if you have to replace the screens, you actually have to lean them out and then the screens tilt in and come out like so. All right. Now, like I say, this window carries a 1-year warranty on the workings of it, but then the glass actually carries a 5-year warranty against seal failure. And so what that means is that in order for them to perform right, that seal has to stay intact. So sometimes if they expand or contract, you'll see a small, sometimes you get a small crack in them, you'll notice, but then you'll see moisture between the panes. If you see moisture between the panes, then what you want to do is call that number in your warranty book, and they'll actually send out a new pane to install. And like I say, that way they're still performing like they should. Okay? 2 latches for security. All right, Valanda, I mentioned to you that underneath your sinks, there were shutoffs on all of the water lines. So same thing, you've got the hot and cold shutoffs. And again, the Moen faucets, same thing, hot to the left, cold to the right. Okay, and of course there is a stopper. We do have, of course, your vanity mirror installed, right? There's some storage back in there for medicine or toothbrushes and things like that. And then something else is the toilets, of course, by code are low, basically it's like a low consumption toilet. So these are 1.6 gallons per flush. So what you have to keep in mind is it's really about a gallon and a half of water is all that goes down them. So with these toilets, if you can actually flush and hold. If you hold that, it actually will put about 3 gallons of water down. So sometimes if you feel the need, you might be better doing that to just flush things down better, right? So if there's a lot of paper or something like that, you might be better to flush and hold or flush twice. Okay? On the tubs, if you notice, it's an all fiberglass tub. So you want to use a soft cloth to clean them. Spray cleaners, most of them are okay. It'll tell you on the bottle whether it's okay for a fiberglass tub. But with the shower, basically the control, the way the valve works is the further you turn that, the hotter it gets. So if you go all the way around, that's going to be all hot water. So of course you have to be careful with that. So you want to adjust that first before you get in, and then on the spout is basically the pull-up, which will turn the shower head on. The lever at the bottom, of course, makes the stopper at the bottom come up or down. That way, if you want to take a bath, you can turn the stopper up and let the water out. course, we've got your towel bar or your shower rod up there. Towel bars are installed. And then the other thing about this is we use a Panasonic bath fans. And these are great because that's been running the whole time. So they're really quiet.
Right.
So same kind of thing. You can actually leave them on to help ventilate the house if you feel the need. This one actually has a few nice features. It actually has, whoops, that was wrong light. It has a night light that's on there, so you can leave it, turn it on or off separately. And then of course the switch for the fan. Okay?
I like that feature.
I know, it's great. All right, well, we'll move along then. All right, Valanda, of course, in your owner's bedroom here, everything is set up, everything looks nice. Of course, you got your ceiling fan, right? The same thing with the switch. You can turn those on individually. Closet, of course, back here, sliding doors. You know, with the sliding doors, basically you just have to really not do much to them, honestly. Sometimes they've been known to come off a track. If that happens, you really just lift them up and pop them back on. But the way Donnie's got those tracks at the bottom, I don't think you'll have that issue. In your bedroom here too, we do have the electric panel, which is something I want to talk about with you. Okay, so if you notice, if you want to come over here, and we can see this, I'll have you do this. So if you notice that on the panel on the door here, all these things are labeled. And it's kind of hard to see, but along the edge of the panel, right, are numbers that coincide with these.
Okay.
So of course, these are all for your furnace. You do have a real high efficient heat pump. But if the furnace wasn't working, you'd see that one of these was tripped.
Right.
And I've told you about these what I called your GFCI protected outlets in the kitchen. All right, that's what these are with the little buttons. All right, there's some that are yellow, some that are white. They work very similar. One's a combo, one's a GFCI. I won't get into all that with you. But let's say that you found that your, let's see here, where am I going? Like your dining room receptacles, okay, weren't working. Well, what would happen is this would probably be tripped like that. And the way you can tell it's tripped is you see like a little orange in the window. All these, okay? So to reset it, you actually flip it back on. As long as it stays on, then you know everything's okay. If it stays tripped, if it won't reset, that means that something is there's a problem either with the circuit or maybe there's something plugged in that has some frayed wires and won't let it reset. Okay. So the first thing is just unplug everything that's in those circuits and see if it'll reset. If it is, then you know you got a bad toaster or something like that. Okay? One other thing I want to tell you about is that these breakers are sensitive to a spark or an arc. And so what we've found is that if you plug a sweeper in, where the sweeper is still turned on, this breaker will think it's a spark and it'll trip. So if you're somebody that does that, you might have to get out of that habit to make sure you turn the sweeper off, plug it in, and then turn it on, and then you'll have no trouble at all. Okay? Any questions as far as this panel goes? It's a 200 amp panel. That's the main breaker. You probably won't have to mess with that. That's more for the electrician. And then, of course, the electrician's name and phone number is all right here at the top if you have any issues. Okay?
All right.
All right. Great. So, Valanda, one of the things, of course, that you have, the feature of this house is a touchscreen thermostat for your heating system. This is great. This is provided by Lennox. And actually, it tells you much of what you need to know. It kind of works like your smartphone, but right here on the control. If you decided that you want your temperature a little warmer, you just basically hit the little slide and actually even slide it up a little bit to get it to 60, you know, whatever temperature you want it set at, or you could slide it back down. There it goes. You can just heard it clicked on. The other thing is it also has a plus and minus if you want to just click it up like 1 degree or click it down 1 degree. You can do that. So the thing on here, of course, it shows you the time. It shows you what temperature that it's going to heat it to. So this is what it is inside now, is 65, and it's going to heat it up to 69.
Next up in this episode, we have David Malk, our volunteer director, interviewing Jesse Blair from the newly formed Wright State Habitat for Humanity campus affiliate.
Hello and welcome back to the Habitat Home Show. My name is David Malk. I'm the volunteer director at Habitat for Humanity of Greater Dayton. I'm really excited this month to be joined by Jesse Blair. I've known Jesse for a little bit over a year, and he's been volunteering with Habitat on a regular basis since getting involved with us a little over a year ago. Jesse started volunteering as a student at Wright State University, and we're going to talk to him a little bit about his experiences today. So Jesse, welcome.
Oh, thank you.
And first of all, can you tell us a little bit about the program that got you involved with us, which is the Organizational Leadership Program at Wright State University?
Yeah, organizational leadership, I went into that field kind of not knowing what it was, and then once I got into it, I realized that it's really kind of the people aspect of business, so it focuses on organizations and the dynamics of how people work together, but it doesn't necessarily focus so much on the business end, more about people's personalities or work types and how those might conflict with one another or different leadership styles and stuff like that.
Great. Can you tell us a little bit about what made you think to contact Habitat for Humanity? I know in the program you have to partner with a local, I believe, nonprofit organization. Mm-hmm. What led you to think about Habitat for Humanity as the organization you wanted to partner with?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, the course required that I partner with a nonprofit organization and write papers on that. And what drew me to Habitat for Humanity was that I've been a carpenter now for over a decade, so it's a little bit in my wheelhouse working on housing and whatnot. But also, you know, with that, the idea that a home and what it means to people, I realize how important that is. You know, that's something I've noticed in my work. And so when it came time to how I felt like I could best help other people, Habitat was kind of a no-brainer for me.
Awesome. And I know it was great having you volunteer with us on a number of different levels. I think that's one of the things I like most about the program is, you know, most people think about, you know, maybe swinging a hammer or building a house, but you also volunteered at our restore. Mm-hmm. You got a chance to come to one of our staff meetings and see what happens behind the scenes at Habitat for Humanity to lead up to the build. So it was great having you engage with us on a number of levels. Mm-hmm. What did you like most about volunteering with Habitat?
I think what I like most about it is, and it kind of goes with what I was saying, being able to provide a home for someone. And, you know, looking back on my years and growing up, I think I kind of took for granted what a home meant to me. But once I got older and on my own, you know, I realized the safety and the comfort that comes with it. And so I think my favorite part of volunteering is when we get to meet the partner families, be able to kind of just see their excitement for the process, and then to be able to help them achieve that, you know, is a huge thing.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. Well, I can say it's been wonderful getting to know you over the past, say, 18 months since we've known each other. I think it was about a little over a year ago this semester that you contacted me and asked if you could plug into Habitat and work together. I remember we had a great breakfast. So thanks so much for all the volunteerism you've provided to our program, and I look forward to working with you in the future. Yes. And thanks for joining us on the Habitat Home Show. Yeah.
So now let's go to our restore at 115 West Riverview Avenue in Dayton, Ohio, and look at some of the furniture we have for sale at very discounted prices. You'll notice that in our restore right now, we have about 6 different models of brand new entertainment consoles. These consoles are valued anywhere from $250 to $300, and you can actually get them for $125 in the box or $150 assembled. There are 6 different styles that we carry currently, and they go from anywhere from a more modern kind of look of an entertainment console to the more traditional wood-based look. These consoles, as I said, can come assembled or in the box, and we were happy to assemble it for the $25 fee. Please visit us at the Restore and ask any of our helpful assistants, and they can point you in the right direction of where you would find these entertainment centers or any other furniture or supplies you may need. It's time now for everybody's favorite part of our episode, Norm's Know-How. I think Norm today has a couple timely tips for the cold weather that we have outside. So I'll let Norm take it away. Thanks for being with us again, Norm.
Thank you, Brad. So everybody's seen our walkthrough on the new energy efficient house that we build, of course, for our partner families. So I want to kind of talk about things that you could do at your house with the cold weather that we have right now. Anything you can do to improve the energy efficiency or to decrease air infiltration will help save you all money on your energy bills too. So of course, check the caulkings around your windows and doors. Again, it seals it from the water, but it also seals it from the air penetration. Something else that's always great to do is if you contact your local energy provider like DP&L or Vectren, most of them have an energy program where a lot of times you can get things like these gaskets for your outlets or switches. And one of the things you have to think about is every one of those leaks some air unless you have a really efficient house. So if you can stop that air from getting into the house, that's less air that you have to condition and warm up to, you know, basically make it more efficient. These are simple to put on. I mean, anybody can do these. There's ones for plugs and switches, and literally you just take the outlet cover off. Once you get the outlet cover off, of course, there are going to be wires in here. You really shouldn't have to worry too much. Generally, they're back inside the box, but you take the gasket, put the gasket right on there. They're actually made to fit the outlet itself. And then if you notice, it basically is just a seal. So once you put the cover back on and screw the plate back on, what it'll do is it'll tighten up and of course seal that tube back to the wall. There's testing that shows that every house, the leakage that you get just from your plugs and switches is like leaving a door open or a window open all year round. So it really makes sense to try to seal that up. A couple other easy tips to do to save energy, of course. Energy saving light bulbs. About 50%, Brad, of all the energy that your house uses is actually for appliances and lighting. And things like a CFL bulb is actually 90% more efficient than a regular bulb. I'm sorry, the CFL is 75% more efficient. The LEDs are about 90%. But when you think about the savings, you know, we're talking about a house that has about 30 bulbs, saving $250 to $300 per year just by replacing the light bulbs. And they're, of course, becoming more affordable now. So it's a great, you know, investment, something you can really do to help, you know, save money, you know, of course, preserve the environment. It's just a good thing to do.
Excellent. Well, that sounds great. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to argue with saving money, especially this time of year. And I think these tips are excellent for that too, especially outlets on your exterior wall, I imagine, right?
Exterior wall, and actually it's important to do the interior wall too. Even though on our new houses we seal the interior penetrations, basically where all the wires go, older homes don't have that, and you'd be surprised when we do the testing how much air will actually pull through interior walls in a house that hasn't been sealed properly. So do them all. These run about, you know, $3 for 20 of them, so you can do your whole house probably for less than $10.
Oh wow, awesome. Well, you got some more for us.
I'm sorry. I wanted to throw out there too. Anybody who has anything else, any other little tips they would like to see, I'd love it if somebody would email me. We have an email at normsknowhow@daytonhabitat.org. I'm sorry, and it's just all spelled out. Norms Know How. I'd love to hear from anybody. Like I say, we'd love to show you whatever you'd like to see how to do on your home.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I'm sure you'll be answering your inbox here shortly then with all the questions that the audience may have. So thank you again for another tip and your time this afternoon.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks again for spending your time with us at the Habitat Home Show. I hope you got to see what the interior of a Habitat house looks like, and hopefully it brought a new perspective to you when you look at Habitat homes in our community. I'd like to thank Norm again for giving us another great tip on, especially this time of year, saving some money and how we can make our house more efficient as we try to heat it and cool it during the different months that we experience here in Ohio. Stay tuned for next month's episode. Next month, we will actually be talking about kind of the backside of family services and Habitat for Humanity. We'll be talking with our mortgage director, who is the one that's responsible for actually servicing, originating, and maintaining all the mortgages that Habitat has with the partner families in the community, as well as we'll do another restore feature, and I believe we'll start a new house to track the progress on. So we'll see you next month. Thank you again for joining us.
Take a little time, show a little love. Take a little time. Take a little time. Show a little love. Take a little time.